Hey, welcome. Here we go. So, in this next lecture, we're going to be talking about ways to connect tables in your database. So while it's great to be able to pull information from a single table, it's not really going to set you apart and get you really dynamic and actionable information. So what you need to do is be able to connect 2 different tables or 3 different tables to get really important information.
Because all the information that you want will probably be scattered across multiple tables, and it's not going to be conveniently located in one table.
If it was very conveniently available, you wouldn't even need a query. You could just look it up. So the power of the query comes when you can connect different tables. And so let's just walk through a pretty basic example here. So a really important thing, for each customer, we want to be able to send them their videos. We want to be able to send them mail about new movies that we're offering.
Spam them.
Exactly, as marketers love to do. So let's look at the customer table. Here, I have it here pulled up. And so for each customer, we have a customer ID, so that's the unique key for that customer. And let's say we want to find their address. We see that there is an address ID, but it doesn't actually say any information about that. So we need to go to find a table that would have the address information. How about the address table?
That's,
there it is.
Yep,
perfect. Right. Okay, so, and as you see here, the address table also has an address ID column. So, and then it has the address, it has the district, it has the city, it has all this information that we're going to want to use to send them information, send the customer
junk mail.
Okay, so what we would want to do to connect these, we'd say something like, let's write a little query to find out. Let's find the customer ID, name, first and last, and their address.
Their mailing address, not their email address.
Good point. Okay, so let's write out our query skeleton.
Skeleton.
Okay, so what tables are we going to use? Let's save this. Let's go tables.sql. Okay, so what tables are we going to be using? We're going to be using the customer table and the address table. And what information do we want from them? We want the customer ID, so we're going to say customer ID. Okay, so one thing that you might see that I just did is that I connected. Okay, so when you're using multiple tables, you need to be very clear in the select clause what table you're getting the information from. And so what you need to do is add the name of the table, then a dot, the name of the column that you want to pull the information from. So then we want the customer first name, comma, customer dot last name, and then we want their address, their mailing address. So we want address.address. So let's zoom out so we can see that all in one. So that's pretty long, but there it is. Okay. And so
if we just ran this, it wouldn't work.
Exactly. So we can try it just to see. Max that out. We run this. And
it looks like everyone lives in the same address.
Yes.
Oh, or multiple addresses. I don't know why that's happening. Oh, it's probably ran out of addresses.
Yeah, so what this is doing in essence, it is for each address, it's giving us every person. So if you look at, where is it? Sweet. Okay. So here's Mary Smith, number 1. Oh. You go up to the top here, you see Mary Smith again. So it didn't actually connect these tables. It just was like, okay, give me all the customer IDs, first and last name, and then give me all the addresses. And so this is incorrect, and it's like, it took 360,000 rows. And so what we need to do is connect these 2 tables so that the information that we're getting is specific to a certain customer. So we add in this where clause. And in the where clause, you're going to use like fields in 2 tables to connect them. So as we said earlier, it'd be address ID. Let's find that in here again. Customer, content, address ID. And we want to make that equal to address.address ID. And so now these tables are connected. And so when we want a customer ID, it's going to give us the address that correlates to the address ID for that customer. So let's copy this, paste it into this query, and see what happens. Okay, so now each of these users, each of these customers has their unique address. So let's just check Mary Smith. So in the customer table, her address ID was 5, excuse me. And in the address table, the 5th address is 1913 Hanoi Way. So let's go back here, 1913 Hanoi Way. And now we have connected the actual addresses to the customer information. And now we can send them as much junk mail as we want.
Awesome.
All right, cool. So that was a very brief introduction to connecting tables. And now we are going to introduce our third brain buster. And what we want you to, or here, David, you go ahead and explain this.
Okay, so let's say that we're going to be connecting 3 tables, maybe. Yes, connecting 3 tables. And so I want the list of every film, the category of that film, whether it's a comedy or a rom-com action, and then the language of that film. Is it a Spanish film? Do they speak English? And so give me all of that. Give me a list of every single film with the film name, the category of that film, and the language of that film.
Perfect. And we'll have a downloadable file over here on your lecture materials to the right where you can download the directions for this brain buster. All right, good luck, and we'll see you in the next lecture.